Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Atlanta Falcons Nation International, Scottish Falcons episode 10 now. We do apologise we weren't able to broadcast for you last night, but there's been some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. But we're here with an even more jam-packed show than what we did have prepared for you. So before we get into anything, I would just like to introduce the guys that are, as I say, my co-hosts with the most. So we'll start with the man to my left. So the Scottish Falcon himself, Des Stevenson. Des, how are you, my brother?
Yeah, fantastic. Just before the show, I went out to the back garden and seen my neighbour and sacked him because I want to buy into the Jeff Ulbrich violence nation that we're all hearing about. So I just thought I would bring the violence a wee bit closer to the home. So I don't think my neighbour was too happy about it, but well, tough. It just needs to accept it. So
or get yourself some protection.
Absolutely.
And of course, underneath us, joining us again, as I say, one of the new members, some of the new blood to the channel, 10 Camo 1. Cam, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. A lot of stuff to talk about from what's all happened this week. I'm very excited.
100%, brother. As I say, it's been a big week. We're into full kit now, so the hits are just going to ramp up and everybody's just ready to go. So we're here for it as well. So before we get into anything, as I say, we'd like to take a moment to shout out everyone that's been going along, helping AFN out. But first of all, we'll start with the Red and Black event. So that was a huge success on Saturday. So for anyone who donated to the Educators Fund, to everyone who came along and had a good time, we appreciate you all for doing that, for showing love, for spending time with the ladies as well and just having a ball. And also, just before we get into training camp and everything that's been happening, I would just like to add a special little caveat to the show for today. So it's Leo season, as you all know, tail end of July, and your boy, number 34, turns 34 today. So this is the birthday episode. So thank you very much.
There's a bottle of Chivas 12 sitting on a supermarket shelf somewhere, just with your name on it. My son decided, I think, to snaffle the one that was in my cupboard. So, but yeah, happy birthday, mate. Happy birthday.
Thank you ever so much.
Listen, mate, you're 34. You're still aged to play NFL football, mate. So
you're a veteran. You're a veteran.
There's a filter.
It's one of those ones that I'm going to go Gandalf with it. Don't tempt me, Frodo. I dare not take it. No, as I said to you many times, man, the farewell tour is within reach and it's tempting. You know, get that red John Cena, the last time is now headband, and just go hell for leather one more time. But I think I'll need permission for the missus. I might spend the season on the couch to do that. But no, we appreciate you all showing love as always. Keep the comments coming. We love your feedback, your questions, as I say. So just hoping to have a good show today, but lots of good talking points. So we'll get into training camp first. But before we kind of talk about,
Obviously, a wee bit of news that came out. Obviously, one of Atlanta Falcons' greats, Deion Saunders. Obviously, it's come out that he's fighting bladder cancer. So again, a shout out to one of the Falcons' greatest. Just a pity he wasn't with us a wee bit longer, but all our thoughts go to him, his family, and we're wishing him a speedy recovery.
100%. Prayers up for Coach Prime. I just read that today, and I'm glad that he's got the news that he was wanting, that they've been able to operate, and obviously he's doing better and he seems in good spirits. So if you are listening to this, or if it gets to you through the grapevine, Coach, prayers up, rest up, get ready for the season to come. We're looking forward to seeing what's next for your buffs. What's up, Southside Vicky? Always showing love, as I say, the OGs, always on the channel. As I say, we may be dropping the link later on, so if you want to hang out with your boys, then you're more than welcome to do so. But we've got a hell of a lot to get through before that. As we say, training camp, but we'll do the latest news first of all. So, Cam, you dropped this on me today. So, number 15th overall pick, our first rounder, this man here, Jalen Walker, he missed training today. And you let me know that it's going to be a minor issue, but it's
I think I was
hamstring.
wrong on him. I think I'm wrong about he was actually training today, but that's why he was missing the other days. But he was like doing light work, but it is good. He was actually out there today. I got mixed up whenever I heard.
No, that's all good. And have you heard anything in terms of prognosis, like how long?
Just minor hamstring. He said they're not really worried about it. It's just I think they're just being precautious, especially like if they did have him out there today. I don't know. Apparently, Jalen's also like, just getting on to Raheem about like wanting to be out there. So I'm sure everything's good. Yeah. It's just Raheem's playing it safe like he does in the past.
Makes sense as well. You don't want to obviously push them too hard too early as well. You don't want to get injuries at this point in the season. Because I would hate to be the guy that got too kind of singing their praises before too many snaps have been played as well. But yeah, as you say, probably just a precautionary measure as well. I didn't get the chance to check this out, but also in terms of news from today, has anyone heard any of the latest from Coach Raheem? I mean, I know he's been fairly diplomatic in what he wants to see from his players. I know we keep going on about the words culture and flexibility, but has there been anything said or gestured to, in your opinion, that's kind of piquing your interest?
Yeah, I mean,
well, go ahead, Des.
One thing I spotted is Morris came out and said that he was talking about Xavier Watts. He calls Xavier Watts an adult. This is Mark Ryan Monday. And he said probably what Jesse Bates was as a rookie, which is high praise from the coach. I haven't seen the interview either. Obviously, I was working today, so but you got to say that. I mean, with everything that's been happening in the last few days since our last show. I mean, you have to imagine the coaches are really, really, really happy with what they're seeing from these guys, the rookies. Yeah. Even Leonard Floyd's been in about it as well. I mean, the media is now starting to jump on the Michael Penix Jr. bandwagon. I mean, there's a lot to go over when it comes to the training camp. But I mean, if Raheem's if he's watching this training camp and he's unhappy, then that's great for us, because everything that you see, it all factors in that everything is going really, really well. Obviously, you've got the Jalen Walker minor injury. I think it's just a small thing. It was a bit strange because some of the coaches were coming out and saying that he was working on his body and it was all planned. And now, obviously, you know that the coaches don't have to declare anything. It's not as if there's a game or it's the start of the season, so they can effectively say whatever they want. They don't need to declare an injury. From some sources on X as well, they're saying that this was similar to the small injury that I had that effectively stopped him or made him decide not to do the combine. So. I think Falcons are probably being wise by being precautious with injury.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely would. I would say at this point in training camp, as I say, you certainly don't want to be losing guys who are going to go on that we are looking at as big time contributors to come during the season. So you also want to be, as I say, that's something that we can touch on later in the show. We also need to be aware as preseason rolls around about experience versus physical progression. We don't want to hamstring them physically just to get them those reps, and we need to be obviously sort of conscious that way. But yeah, before we get into training camp, just like to again shout out everybody down in the chat, Ricky, Sonia, Maggie, all shouting us out. And while we're on the subject of the Ladybirds, As I say, they've been rolling deep down at training camp themselves. So gang. We've been seeing the photos over the last few days. And as I say, again, just going into this whole notion of culture. We see Nick Nash swag surfing. There's the ladies with Jesse, and with Caden Ellis. And as I say, whatever the ladies do, the rest of the AFN family are never far behind. So as I say, whenever you see us rolling, we roll deep. So come out, say hi, show your love, show your support. But yeah, just thought I'd share some of the photos from camp because, as I say, from all reports, it's been a really exciting time. The team's been very open, very accommodating with the fans, but also they're bringing that swag, they're bringing that swagger back to Atlanta, and they're carrying themselves like some guys who know they're the shit. And I love it. I love the energy. I love the vibes. I love just how deep attendance was this year as compared to previous years. They know something's coming. And as I says to the guys in the back, my mum's a Dallas Cowboys fan. And I was doing some work while I was over at hers for my little sister's birthday yesterday. And she goes, "Are you watching the camp for work?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You know what? This might be your Super Bowl year because if these are the boys you were telling me about, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Your new QB looks pretty fucking awesome." And I was like, "He does, right?" So, I mean, it's always nice to get some credence from other teams around the league and make them go, "Nah, do you know what? That Atlanta team's something to watch." So, yeah, there's some good news coming from around the league as well. People are taking notice. On you go, Des, sorry.
Well, there's every year I put a bet on for the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl. So there's my bet. So I bet, you can just see it, I bet £20, which is effectively $25, and I will win, because I will win, £1,020, which is effectively about $1,400. I have just noticed as well that it's actually a Super Bowl 60. So the fact that it's Super Bowl 60 in Atlanta's 60th year, it's just apt. The football gods will be up there with their wee potions and making it successful for the Atlanta Falcons. Whether they win it or not, it's £20 well spent from my point of view.
Oh, 100%. You can't go wrong, man. It's win or lose because, as I say, what's the worst case scenario about this team? We all get a hell of a lot of content for our first year because I've said it many times in different ways, but you can be a little bit more pensive and a little bit more sentimental about it. But I feel like there's been too many signs just that this is the right year to put this thing together as well. Atlanta's changing in such a way where they're embracing the sports culture. They've got the Olympics coming. The Falcons are on the rise. There's been more investment in the Hawks. The NHL's returning to the A. So it's not just an exciting time to be a sports fan, but it's an especially exciting time to be a sports fan in the Atlanta metro area. So yeah, we're excited to see what's coming as well. And while we're talking about photo ops and training camp, obviously Matty Ice, the Iceman, was down with the Ice Cubes, his twin sons. So we've got some nice shots of Matt and the boys just down, as I say, again boosting that culture, getting behind Mike Penix, getting behind this organisation, getting behind the fans as well, which we love to see. So yeah, if you were part of that photo, we are exceedingly envious. But yeah, that's my goat right there. That's my QB. What's up, D? D Coleman down in the chat.
How's it going?
How's it going, brother? Sorry, Des, on you go.
It goes back to I remember when Matt left and went to the Colts, and the first thing you seen was before you seen, I think, Matt Ryan in a Colts jersey, you seen the Ice Cubes in their Colts jersey. And I think that was probably tougher to watch, seeing his boys in a Colts jersey, not in a Atlanta Falcons jersey, than actually seeing Matt play in a Colts jersey. So when he obviously retired, and I think I think a few seasons ago he came back and they were all in the number 2. It just seemed like it was like back to normal again. So I'm pretty sure the Colts number 2 somewhere is in a cupboard somewhere. I don't think the ice cubes will be wearing them anytime soon.
No, and I would hope not, because as I can only speak for myself, but that was damaging to the soul. that did hurt my psyche for a little minute there. But no, as I say, Matty Ice was almost made to be a Falcon. He signed his 1-year deal, and now he's helping the next man along. The heir apparent, so you can't be mad at the man for that. But yeah, just as I say, lots of good stuff going in terms of vibe and in terms of just setting the stage for something special this year, for year 60. But as I say, it's one of the buzzwords again. As I say, you've mentioned motion many times, Des. I've mentioned flexibility and versatility, but another one is culture. As I say, we've boiled it down. We were talking about it when Jeff Ulbrich was mic'd up. We've since seen Jesse Bates mic'd up as well. We've heard a lot about the scraps, which we'll get into in a little bit, the training ground fights and the handbags between JPJ, Bergeron, Leonard Floyd. So yeah, talking about the good, the bad, and the nasty of things. Both of you boys, give me your opinion on how you feel about like this culture shift, how the defense wants to turn up and be more physical, more nasty, more violent, as you say. How do you guys feel?
There's a lot to touch on, just especially with like how the veterans are interacting with the rookies. Usually that's how it is. They always are giving them a mentor, like path. But seeing Jesse being a mentor to Xavier and Kobe, that video of him talking to those two while he's mic'd up, Caden Ellis talking about James Pierce and that he has an edge-like style to his play, not just in the position, but like he just has that edge that gets guys, like offensive linemen, gets under the skin. That's a thing that I've been hearing pretty much everyone use when they're talking about James Pierce, is he gets under people's skin. And I ain't got much to say about the offense, really. It's just all about the defense this year. It's just that's where a lot of the energy, I feel like, is coming out of. I feel like the offense is just like, you're just having you're just being confirmed of what you already knew this offense could be. This defense is becoming something it hasn't been before.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. There is a lot of pressure and a lot of sort of expectation on this defense. You're right. We will come back to the defense. I've got a few offensive points I'd like to make, but first off, Des, how do you feel about the change, the step up in physicality, the step up in hard nose, old school football, fundamentally?
Yeah, and again, this is you can't say anything else other than this is Jeff Ulbrich came down and said that the defense you see this year is going to be completely different to the defense you've seen last year. A lot of people have commented that have been to the last few practice training camps, and they've spoke about the intensity and how much more intense that this training camp's been. And effectively, you're talking about obviously veterans. I mean, shout out to Kirk Cousins as well. Seemingly, he's been like with James Pierce. He was offering support on some of the. I think he patted a ball down that Kirk Cousins was trying to throw, and Kirk Cousins got him after training and says to him how well he's doing and how good that was. So again, it's not just like that. Obviously, we had the scuffle, but the intensity from everybody, but from one man especially, has been phenomenal. And we say time and again in the last couple of shows that we've been on that this seems different. The coaches are different. Jeff Ulbrich, again, I wasn't a big supporter when we hired him because I felt we were going backwards. But he, and again, I seen another tweet as well. Somebody that was at practice said that the one thing you can say that Jeff, when it comes to that defense, Jeff Ulbrich is in charge. He's telling them what he wants to do. He doesn't care if you're a veteran. He doesn't care whether you've been there one day, 10 years, whatever. He's got a way of how he wants this done, and he's doing it. And I keep on jumping back to Jalen Walker getting interviewed at the Combine when he spoke about how Jeff Ulbricht's defense was going to be a difference maker, and how revolutionary it would be, and you're seeing the intensity. Not only the intensity, but you're seeing it in literally nearly 100-degree heat. That's the thing that's unbelievable. These guys ain't doing this in an overcast, rainy day. These guys are doing this in major heat, and they're bringing this intensity. So, and I agree with what Cam says. This offense, we know what this offense is going to give us, but we just need this. If this defense is just average, that's all we need. We just need an average defense. But when you're looking at how they're practicing and some of the stories that have come out, you're seeing that. I really believe this is as you say, a culture. This is the culture that I think Raheem Morris has always wanted to bring to Atlanta.
And as I say, you and I chopped up a few weeks ago nowadays about, do we feel that Dan Quinn was gone too early? And I mean, he went with my full respect and a salute and a gold star. I have a lot of love for Dan Quinn. He is a hell of a coach and a hell of a man. But as I say, it's a business decision. I can appreciate the business decision. But having watched now Jeff Ulbricht's approach to how he wants to build this defense, he's got the sort of fatherly edge to it. I mean, he'll have a laugh and he'll build that rapport. But if you're half-assing it, he'll fucking tell you that you're half-assing it. And that's the way we
still have Dimitrov as our GM if Dan Quinn did stay longer though. So I don't know if I would want that. Nothing against Dan Quinn.
With that. Yeah, just gonna throw that on the scales. It does balance out a little. You've got me there, brother.
Yeah, it took us into cap hell. Yeah, those years. It's I don't know.
But yeah, as I say, guys, like we will get into defense because defense is going to keep us talking for a while. But just before I do, just to kind of be that guy as an offensive player myself, I've got to shout out a couple of the guys from an offensive standpoint that I feel like are performing well. Like everyone knows, first off, my guy, Bijan Robinson. He's an absolute stud. His cut speed is sublime. I went back and watched some of his highlights from 2024, particularly when he was running against high-level teams, the Eagles, the Commanders, even the Cowboys, because take the drama out of it. Dallas plays good portions of very good defense. So when we played those three teams in the East last season, and Bijan was still balling out, still making those nice double cuts, I was like, no, there are levels to this thing. There's a difference between good running backs and great running backs, and this guy's elite. Yeah, this guy's elite. And as I say, and a special shout out to the guy who shares my number, the 3 and the 4 there, Ray McLeod, because he has been, like, on other channels, I've heard him referred to as Ray McGoof, but tell me that boy ain't making some plays.
Yeah, no, he's great.
He
does his job. Yeah, he came in and did exactly what, he exceeded our expectations. Honestly, him and Darnell Mooney both. Yeah.
And that's the thing. They try to kind of downplay the receiver room. But, I mean, see, I said to you guys in the messenger chat, like, even if we run from the 53 with 6 receivers, do you guys see anything wrong with a list that goes Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Nick Nash, DJ Chark, Jamal Agnew? That is not a bad list in any way. And then, as I say, training Kyle Pitts to be versatile and be more of a receiver as well. And you've still got Charlie Werner and probably Joshua Simons. So this pass catching game is going to be dangerous. And for a run first team, it's going to give us just so many more options as well. So you can only be happy about that, guys. Come on.
The one thing you can see it. Sorry, mate. The one thing you can see is that Ray McLeod is standing up for with Darnell Mooney being out. I mean, Ray McLeod was effectively only a special teamer most of his career until he came to Atlanta, and we actually allowed him to take to do the wide receiver job that he had done in college. So, I mean. From my point of view, you're hearing as well. I mean, you said a few names, but you're hearing as well about David Sills. David Sills, the fifth. Drake London was asked about him. Seemingly, he's been playing really well as well as a wide receiver. He's 6'3", so he's similar to Drake London. He's a big-bodied wide receiver, and again, he's getting a lot of comments about how well he's done in training camp. So. I honestly believe, guys, that the 53-man team that we have in our heads, I honestly believe there's going to be some shocks. We've all, and again, it's going to be like another name that you've heard mentioned is Khalid Kareem, the offensive linebacker as well. So. Again, he's been jumping between the first team and the second team. So again, the one thing I do know about Terry Fontenot is he doesn't care what your name is. He doesn't care where you were drafted. All he wants is the best players on the park. You know what I mean? So I think the 53-man team that we've got in our heads. I mean, these coaches are seeing it day in and day out in practice, so we just have to leave it down to them.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of complaints when the 53-man is done with all the people that are cut, and don't make it to the 53. No matter how you do it, there's going to be complaints.
Because as you say. Yeah, it's the best problems, but it's going to get tricky because, as you say, Sills is going to play Nash close for wide receiver 6, but we forgot Kadaro Hodge. He's got some hands too. So I mean, it's going to get
He was a Pro Bowler last year.
So I mean, there's only so many ways you can. There's only so many bodies you can afford to lose before things get tough, and it's the same on defense. I feel.
I almost forgot. We didn't bring it up before we started, but the Kevin King cut and Polk, we cut him, and then we brought in. Well, I don't know if we brought in Whitehead yet or signed him. Whitehead from the Buccaneers.
Oh, okay.
And someone else from the UFL. I forgot the name, but it's another safety. So there's some movement happening there. Not really too sure. Let me find a name.
Well, I like to see it. I mean. It's good that everyone's got sort of high level competition at this point in the preseason. I'm also going to shout out the level of UFL to NFL transition there's been this year all throughout the league. I see Dallas, I see Denver, I see Las Vegas dipping a lot. We've obviously been looking that way as well. But the amount of guys that have graduated from the UFL to the NFL this season has been really reassuring.
His name is Henry Black. He's a safety.
Great. Okay. I've not seen anything about him. Admittedly, I'll need to go back and watch. But
that was from Kevin Knight. If you need to find that anywhere, the name.
Well, as I say, you can't argue with more safety depth, especially because we're going to be running a lot of nickel. And if you can't maybe fit in safety, then there's always an option to maybe get some nickel depth, rotation, things like that. So as I say, I'm not reading anything that I'm not happy about.
Yeah,
not in the least. But yeah, as I say, there's a lot to be happy about from an offensive perspective. So let's flip the narrative. As I say, the ever evolving shape of our defense, because as I say, there's been a lot of sort of guys that are splitting reps in between the ones and the twos, so to speak. I know specifically Xavier Watts is doing sort of 2-1. So like 68% of his reps are with the ones, but he's still letting Kobe get in there and do some more things. We've still got D. Alford. We've still got some of these guys as well. But for me, as I say, coming in, one of the biggest things that we had to be aware of was the battle between these two guys. So Bam Bam Helms and Xavier Watts, or as they're calling him now, the X Factor, which I love to hear, because, as I say, he's got safety, nickel, possibly even slot corner flexibility. He's a ball hawk, as we've seen. As we know, his credentials speak for themselves as far as college football and his production at that level goes to speak. So, I mean, that was the biggest one coming in for me. But there was big battles all over the defense. So let's talk defense. How do you guys feel things are coming? Do you guys have an opinion one way or the other as to who's starting opposite Jesse? And one more thing that I've got for you is, and you can tell me if I'm getting too close to the knuckle here, but you know I'm going to come right out and say it. That's what we are expected to do. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. I don't feel like Troy Anderson really wants to be here. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I couldn't tell you what he wants, but I can just say that he's probably going to get injured again. I just have a feeling, like, I just don't know. I'm not confident there. That's the only spot I'm not really confident in. It's Troy's health.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. How about you, Des? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you think about the guy, I mean, he needs to be on the park. He needs to be training. I mean, this is the training camp's the most important part of the season. I mean, obviously, especially the fact that he was coming back from a season injury, an injury last season as well. And then he literally comes straight on and he's right on the PUP list as well. Obviously, him and Jalen Walker have been training together, but for me, whatever I feel about him, I think his speed is phenomenal. I think he's a really dynamic linebacker. But the issue you've got is if he's not on the park, there's no discussion whether he wants to be here or whether he doesn't want to be here. The discussion is that he needs to be injury free. If he's injured, there's nothing to discuss. He can't be on the park. So,
and I'm not trying to be callous when I say that. I'm not dissecting him as a man, but I mean, speaking as a player who in his own playing career has had to ride the bench for long periods of time, I know how it affects your will towards the game. It takes you a little longer when you're doing those stretches again. It takes you half a second longer for me when the ball's
in the air
to
greased up.
And if you're doing that consistently, like you're always coming back from injury, then it's going to impact your will in the game. You're maybe not going to feel, if I can't give my best, then why am I here? And
you're going to doubt yourself.
So not to dissect Troy as a man. I'm sure obviously he's got the character, he's got the strength of character to bounce back. But as I say, I'm just speaking from someone who has that experience myself. So I worry about that. I feel like that could be a concern, is how much is he gonna impact his heart and his ability to want to play rather than that. That was what I mean. So in terms of Troy,
listen, I understand that, but I'll go back to what they said about Jalen Walker when they drafted him, and they said that they were going to play him in edge. Now, effectively, a linebacker. I mean, it's not a massive. We've not got a massive depth in linebacker. You know what I mean? So
no.
I've always said that I think it's possibly a double bluff. That they're saying that Jalen Walker's going to be edge, and I think at some point he's going to be lined up as a linebacker. But you have to look if it's effectively Caden Ellis, and then you're into JD Bertrand. You know what I mean? So effectively, there's not a lot of depth. We need Troy Anderson. We really do. I think on his day, I mean, he's a great player. He's as I say, he's dynamic. He's quick. He's speed. But if he's not there, is it a case that they're going to have to do more of Jalen Walker at linebacker? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like for me, because as I say, it depends what you're looking for in certain position groups. But for one thing, I prize in a hands down defensive end is length, and that's something that JPJ has over Jalen Walker. So although he played that at the college level, I would be more inclined to run JPJ as an end and Jalen as an outside backer, because you have Leonard Floyd also at the hands down edge. Ebiketie is sort of a hybrid, but does a lot of damage with his hand in the dirt as well. So I feel like we've got that flexibility to where we can look at just having Jalen as a downhill running backer, consistently pressuring the weakest edge. So we can move him about from the left to the right, just depending, especially if we have mobile quarterbacks. Because, I mean, we faced Baker week 1, and he can move when he's got to. So I feel like if we've got Jalen almost... to refer to the UK game, I'd call him a dog backer. Sort of not quite a low safety, but not quite a high backer. And he's roaming, sort of watching the QB, watching the wheels and things like that out of the backfield. So I feel like that could be a good role for him. And I would have JPJ more as that direct pass rushing edge, just because of his length and because, as we'll go on to a little bit later on in the chat, his tenacity. I want my guys down front, where that first contact is made, I want them to be gritty, and I want them to come off and crack. Like not to mince words, but I want to hear that smack when they come off at the line. And that's what it's all about. So, and just to kind of piggyback what you boys are saying earlier, like best man in the best role for the situation, and we can twist and turn accordingly, so to speak. You know.
Desi, I could see that, but the one thing is, I don't think this offensive staff, the coaching staff, really, I don't think they bluff at all. Ever since Raheem's gotten here, when they were. Like, people thought the Falcons were trying to do a smoke screen or whatever when they were checking out Penix and all that and trying to maybe trick people. Yeah. No, they went and got him a week later. And then the whole Kirk Cousins, are you keeping Kirk Cousins? Yeah, we're fine with keeping Kirk Cousins. Everyone thought that was a bluff. They're fine with keeping Kirk Cousins. And yeah, no, I mean, it just in their track record. Usually when they say they're going to do something, they tend to stick with that.
Yeah, and I feel like the term smokescreen can be a smokescreen in itself.
Yeah,
I feel like that comes with certain caveats, because part of me feels like, I mean, if you've seen the first, I'm not sure if it was the day 1 or day 2 presser, Coach Raheem said, I'm happy with the way that Braylon Trice and Troy Anderson are progressing, but the pup designation we're giving to Troy, even though he's And I feel like he's given himself enough of an option to where he's not committing one way or the other, and he's letting kind of Troy be the judge of that. So I feel like, and as I could say, we've seen it in quarterback too. Like Raheem was always quite. I don't know why Kirk used the word misled, because at the end of the day, I would say to Kirk, if we had the chance to have this conversation, I would say what you need to bear in mind is that you wanted to contribute to this game. To this team, and one of the best ways that you can do that as a 36-year-old quarterback on essentially one good leg, we didn't realise it, but after the Saints game, on one good arm, your best capacity is as a mentor and as a role model for the guy who's coming.
Anybody who should understand that, better than anyone else, it should be Kirk Cousins, because that's literally how his career started. His career started by being drafted after they just used a bunch of capital on somebody. So he should know that better than anybody.
Yeah. And I speak about Kirk. I never have usually a bad word to say about Kirk. Seems like a mature guy. He seems like a decent gentleman. But at the same time, I feel like misled is maybe a bit much here. Like, I understand that he's still trying to protect his brand and get his money. And again, shout out to his damn agent, because boys made some bag. But no, I feel like they're He did go a bit far with choosing the words that he chose, for sure. But
he has been very mature in camp and the way he's talked about his teammates and everything. So, obviously he's not going to cause any issues. It's Kirk Cousins. That's just not his route to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's embracing the fans too. I mean, he's still doing his little dancing, and he's signing the autographs and kissing the babies, so to speak. So, I mean, I feel like. I feel like we're committed. He's committed. We know now that he's not going to be a thorn in the side of us. He's down for it too. So as long as everybody can get behind this, and that's what I said, it's on a fan base as well. Going back to episode 1, we were saying it, Des, get your asses in the seats and support this team, because this isn't Mike Vick's team anymore, and Mike Vick's here for it. This isn't Matt Ryan's team anymore, and he's here for it. So why shouldn't we be? That's what we've been asking since we started this stuff up. So that's all.
Yeah, I mean, this team's only one man. I mean, I think Michael Penix Jr. was asked what Caleb McGarry says in the huddle. And Michael Penix Jr. turned around and said, "There's only one man speaking in the huddle." And that's
the way it
him.
should be.
So this team is Michael Penix's team. I'm not going to constantly call him Michael Penix Jr. That man ain't a junior. That man is he's a senior NFL player.
You're the daddy now.
Literally, absolutely at camp, he's been balling out. As I said earlier, the mainstream sports media are now starting to jump on this man and how. I mean, I've heard the word special being mentioned. I've heard people talking about how some of the shows that he's making are like superfluous. I mean, all these words, I mean, it's like these sports guys are literally turning into Shakespeare, trying to explain and work out what's happening and how good this Michael Penix is. So
they've got a playbook and then there's thesaurus underneath. But just to shout out D there as well.
His long ball is going to be phenomenal. Even Kirk Cousins, I mean, everything has been great in this training camp. Even Kirk Cousins has been balling out. So effectively, we've got everything in place, because effectively how it works is the second team works against the first team defense, and the first team works against the second team defense. So effectively, the first team defense is playing against Kirk Cousins, and he can ball it. Again, they're up against it as well. But I mean, I know today that Michael Penix threw his first interception after 5 days in training camp. How many throws? I mean, hundreds upon hundreds of throws every day, and he gets his first interception today. And seemingly, if you see what he said on what was discussed, seemingly he threw his helmet down and started kicking it towards the sideline.
That tells you everything you need to know.
An interception in training camp, and he isn't happy. That's our quarterback. This man, I don't care. They can play this episode back when in a year time, 2 years time. This guy is our franchise quarterback. We have hit the jackpot with this guy.
Hell yeah.
All the garbage that Terry Fontenot got in his press conference last year when he had to sit there after drafting him and effectively you've just signed Kirk Cousins to $180 million contract, and you've then signed this guy. And it was Terry was looked a bit flummoxed, and then at that point, Raheem Morris stood up and said, "Well, we need to put our future in place, and this guy is the future. This guy's the 100%. Future. Not only am I going to be putting on a bet for the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl, which I've already done, I am going to be putting on 2 bets: James Pierce Jr., Defensive Rookie of the Year." Michael Penix Jr., MVP. That's what I'm doing because he's not a rookie anymore, so he can't be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. But everything that you're hearing from training camp, all the veterans are having great training camp. There's nothing, no big issues. And Michael Penix is balling out. I mean, seemingly, again, I heard one of the guys on one of the other podcasts I listened to, and he said that effectively yesterday or Tuesday, Michael Penix just comes on the field, first row, effectively long ball, deep ball to Drake London. Drake London grabs it, and it was and effectively his first row. He's just warmed up, bang, and an amazing show. So this is what I would say is this is going to be the time for us. This could be a special season.
I agree. And you know something? I'm going to put one caveat, and I'm going to say he doesn't get MVP, and I'll tell you why. Because there's so much media bias towards the AFC, and given some of the quarterbacks that are in the AFC putting up video game stats, I think they're going to be looking at guys like Patty Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and but I reckon he's going to get NFC OPOY. I think that's definitely within the realm of possibility. But I just know how the media do, so I don't know about MVP. I'd love to see it, and I think he's well capable, but I don't know if he gets it this year. But I think he's definitely in contention for OPOY in the NFC. But yeah, there's so much to be.
But you know the funniest thing, Will? But you know the funniest thing, sorry to butt in.
What's that?
You know I'm passionate about this.
What's that?
Do you know the funniest thing? See for the last 10, 12 years that I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan, there's always been times where I've seen a special player and I've always been scared. I've always felt that I would get ridicule coming on, putting a tweet out on X about how good I think this player's going to be or how good I think that player's going to be. Michael Penix Jr. is the one guy that I don't care what anybody thinks about what I'm saying about that man. This guy is special. And effectively, I'll go back to all the garbage that the Atlanta Falcons got drafting him, and effectively, who's laughing now? Who's got the last laugh?
Yep, 100%.
And then you jump to James Pierce. You know what I mean? At number 26, and he's effectively dominate.
And that's a great wee way to side swipe there, because let's talk about it. Let's talk about James Pierce Jr. While you're talking about elite emerging players, while you're talking about candidates for Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, that sort of award. Let's talk about JPJ a little bit. So before we kind of break down some of the things that we're enjoying, I've got a couple of baller photos here. So I'm going to shout out these guys individually. So first off to Leonard Floyd, who is proven to be every bit the captain on that defensive front, because when the guys when JPJ went to war, when he went like, nah, helmets are flying, let's fucking do this, he was right in there protecting his guy. And I love that. So it's not just JPJ you need to watch. This is a unit we're building. But I mean, shout out to Matt Bergeron, because that dude's a stud. that dude's going to, he's happy. He's like, nah, I'm going to stand in there and get nasty. I don't mind that. And then he's singling out JPJ on the next play and going, you and I have some unfinished business. Let's sort this kid. So I love it. As I say, I love when they get big, get mean, get nasty early in training camp, because if they're willing to do that to each other, what they're going to do to the opposition, So, and especially from an offensive line standpoint, I mean, week 1 we have Tampa Bay, so we're going to have to play big, play mean, play nasty to keep Vita Vea off of MPJ. So, I mean, how do you feel about it all? I mean, JPJ, as we say, he's long, he's strong. We were lucky in a lot of ways to get back in and get him. He's got that fast twitch muscle fiber, as you say, Cam. But yeah, are we? Surely we're not this lucky. Like, I pinch myself some nights and go, MPJ, JPJ, this isn't real. Like, am I playing Madden here or something? Is this just been some draft class where I've struck gold? But then I wake up and I go, no, this actually is my Falcons. It's insane. I'm so excited.
The Falcons start on defense with the beginning game against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm just going to say it. JPJ's first play is going to be a sack. Let's just put up high expectations. I wish I could bet on that. Probably can, but I don't know.
Sack, force fumble. Yeah, let's do it. Let's will it into existence like the Super Bowl ring. Which I need to share on here. I will get it in terms of the time for the next show. So if I forget, boys, please remind me. I've got a mock-up of a Super Bowl ring for the Falcons for this coming season, and it's a beautiful sight. You need to see it. But yeah, as I say, just sort of before you jump in, I'm just saying, like, we have been we've tried to be realistic, and we've tried to, as I say, play devil's advocate and all the rest of it, and say, no, hold up there, because here's what you need to bear in mind. But oh god, it's an exciting time to be a Falcons fan, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It really is.
For me, the main thing about James Pearce is the fact that this ain't against the second team. This is against Bergeron, McGarry. This is Nuzzo. So this was. I mean, seemingly today, he walked around Jake Matthews today as well. So this is. There's two ways to look at it. If this was quite a new O-line, we'd all be standing saying to ourselves, we'd all be talking and saying, how bad is our O-line if a rookie just walks in and he's walking around these guys? But this was one of the top 5 O-lines last season. All that's happened is that Nuzzo's now went in instead of Dalman. But again, Nuzzo played for 8 games last year. And James Pearce is effectively manhandling these guys. I heard somebody who was there said that he was dominating them. Absolutely dominating them. Now,
and you can pull up those rosters. Yeah, and as I say, you can pull up those rosters again and just look at the sizes. I mean, JPJ came out listing at 264 pounds, I think it was. Then you look at McGarry, for instance, 6'6", 330. Jake Matthews, 6'7", 318. Then you've got the second stringers, Jack Nelson, 6'6" and a half, and about 314. You've got Jordan Williams at 6'6", 322. These are not small. These are not athletic tackles. Although they can move, these are huge guys, and JPJ is handling them, and not just in terms of size, but in terms of ability levels. This is really giving me a lot of things to be happy about. I feel like he's already coming in to be. He's already setting ceilings of being a top 15, top 12, possibly even top 10 edge rusher in the league. I mean, as I say, there's a big drop-off when you're talking edge pressure between your TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby. Between that short list of guys, there's quite a drop-off before you start getting into that second sort of tier. And I feel like JPJ is going to come in right into that second tier of guys. So it's a fantastic sort of group to throw yourself into for a rookie. There's not many guys outside of like Aaron Donald and things like that. There's very, very few guys that come in at that level on the edge and just wreck the game right away. JJ Watt. And as I say, there's even more so that come out with a name like Jadeveon Clowney and then don't amount to as much as we expect them to. So to have the hype and then to see the kid hit the field and to be sitting here weeks down the line going, nah, he's the truth. I mean, this off-season's been insanely good value for us. All ends up. And then, as I say, in terms of culture as well, even the UDFAs are getting it. They're loving how many fans are out and embracing the vibe this year. And yeah, it's going to be something special for sure. So
Southside Ricky saying Bergeron easily being a Pro Bowler. Yeah, definitely. I can see that too. It's insane how well he's like adapted to this offensive line that quick. But that no thanks to our, the offensive line coach. What's his name again? Letterford.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, great guy. We need to make sure we do not lose him to any other teams in the upcoming years. Yeah.
No, because I'm not being funny. Like right across that starting offensive line, I'm not being funny. Every single one of them is a Pro Bowl or a Pro Bowl alternate. Because even Jake Matthews is, even though he's what is he now? 30? Is this will be his age 32 season? I think
probably he's been here. He's one of the last players from that 2016 team.
Right. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so as he hits age 32, he's still playing at a really, really high level.
He could go to 40.
Yeah, easily. He could be up there in Jason Peters, Trent Williams territory, and still playing at a high level as these guys are.
It's not like Jake Matthews. He's been dealing with any injuries over the past years, right? I haven't really noticed him out at all.
No, he's missed one game, and then he's got the longest unbroken streak in the league. I think it's 286 games, starting at left tackle, which is a position where you're likely to get hurt. So to start 286 straight games at left tackle, considering some of the edges that he's faced in those 10 years, that's insane. That's insane work, insane longevity as well, and the prayers up and can keep
especially
it going for years to come.
Where he was probably the best offensive line player on that line for a while before we got Letterford, and then Arthur Smith. They started to build that offensive line together.
Yeah, and he was even the anchor before. As I say, we built the line and we double dipped and took Caleb and Chris that year. Because a lot of people were laughing at us that season, but again, we come back and we go, who's laughing now? Because those two guys are cornerstones of what is
a line. The top 10, top 5, out somewhere around there.
But again, that was Dimitrov. I mean, he left it too late. I mean, there was times in probably the 3 or 4 seasons before that he actually had to bring in offensive linesmen. And he didn't do it. So effectively, when he finally brought in a couple of decent O-line guys, he was gone the next season. You know what I mean? So it was going nearly just after that. So again, Cam said earlier on, I don't miss TD at all, mate. Crazy contracts.
He dug his own grave,
and you would see the needs in the. Yeah, you would see the needs in the team, and you would just wait for him to fill those needs, and it would literally be O-line, and he'd sign some crazy linebacker contract for some veteran that's literally in his 32nd or 33rd year, and because it was a good name, it was as if he was signing players to get the fans in, but the contracts were just ridiculous. But again, going back to what you said as well about JJ Watt and all that kind of stuff, the one thing about these players like JJ Watt, I remember when he came in, the one thing about JJ Watt is he, at no point was he ever a rookie. although he was a rookie, he never ever played like a rookie. He came in from the start and he was straight into the team and he was playing straight away. Now, the one thing we can't do with James Pearce, we need to understand if he's good enough, he's old enough, let him play. None of this hold him back and trying to feed him in and all that kind of stuff. This guy will run amok. So we don't want to be the team that effectively has a diamond in our edge position that we then just feed him out. So from what he's done in training camp, this guy is a monster. I mean, Bergeron 100%. Was getting interviewed, and Bergeron looked as if he'd seen a ghost. It was like, I mean, it looked real. It was like a case of what I've played today.
Yeah, and it reminds me. I know it's not really the same sport, but it reminds me of a recent interview I seen with Paul White, the Big Show, and he was talking about. They went, "Well, Paul, you're a big dude. So, is there any guys that you ever were on the edge of an altercation with, where you thought?" And Paul goes, "Well, nah, I'm 7 foot tall and almost 500 pounds. So a lot of the times, if I want to get nasty, that's usually enough." But the two examples would be Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, where I go, even if I had to, I don't know if nasty would be enough. And that's what I felt like from Bergeron. I went, it's like, it got nasty, it got heated, but I felt like in Bergeron's face, he's like, nah, I feel like if it really came to it, this is one of the guys where it's like, I don't know how that would go. I don't know, man. But I love that he's man enough to say that. And piggyback what you've said, and also with JJ Watt. And there's another one, as Ricky says as well, like, shout out to the former USC Trojan and Green Bay Packer, because he was one of my favourite players when I first got into the league, Clay Matthews III. And you want to talk about a guy who came straight out of college ready to eat. Clay Matthews III was another one of those edge threats that was just, nah, I'm not running the ball that guy's way. Not in the least. So yeah, as I said, great comments all around, guys. Keep liking, keep commenting. Just keep sharing the love, because we love talking Falcons with you. But yeah, let's keep it coming. So we've got a few more topics to get through. As I say, while we're on the subject of some of those things, but I know we kind of touched on it earlier. But in terms of the ongoing battles, as I say, I mentioned specifically the one between Watts and Helms earlier on. We've spoke a little bit about Braylon Trice and his recovery, and I feel like another important one would be Troy's recovery and prognosis versus Divine Diablo, because Divine's a real good player too. But how do you guys feel in terms of some of the ongoing battles? Is there any, and obviously Koo and Krieg as well, which we've touched on, but is there anything else that's standing out over the last couple of days? I mean, I know Kobe Bryant's getting some more reps and things, but
I would have to say,
I think he.
I don't know. Yeah, just the safety room, or the so many safeties now, since especially we brought in Whitehead and I already forgot his name. The guy from the UFL, Henry Black, I think.
Henry Black.
I can't remember. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's just there's a lot of guys in that room right now. It's like, it's almost too much to comment on. Yeah, and as I say, we're making good on that Kevin King cut, because, as I say, the original narrative was that we'd cut him to kind of keep Mooney and bring in a replacement receiver, but of course we poo-pooed that because the Chark deal was on the table 3-4 weeks before Mooney got hurt. So I mean, but yeah, we've definitely been we know who's kind of progressing, who's not. And then, as I say, you could always look and see if there was anything more Kevin King not being at training camp, but I think possibly he was cut before the no-show, so that would explain that as well. So, but yeah, as I say, there's a lot of bodies in different positions, but it's for me, the big problem isn't where are you battling, it's trying to find what the one spot for everyone is. Because what's annoying me is looking at these guys and going, well, I don't know how to assess them, because I'm not sure whether I'm assessing them as a linebacker or a D-end, or I'm not sure if I'm assessing them yet as a safety or a nickel. You see what I'm saying? Right.
And my assessment would be different depending on where you're playing.
once a preseason starts get going for the Falcons, that should help kind of clear it up. And
I feel like that too. As I say, especially like we've got week 1's going to be a big one. The conjoined scrimmage with Tennessee, because that's going to put us up against the number 1 pick. So, and I know that he's been picked off quite a few times in training, so it's going to be a good exercise for that defense. A good way to kind of transition training camp into real snaps without. We're having a nice kind of transition period. We're not going right up against a Kansas City or a Buffalo or a Detroit, something like that,
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to make it easier when the real snaps roll around, I feel too.
Can I put a bet out that James Pierce starts something in the joint training camp with Tennessee? Definitely. That man wants to. That man would look vicious in Glasgow Main Street, and that's saying something. You know what I mean? So,
that's not the guy that you want to start with, and under any circumstances.
And again, looking back, with the scuffle that James Pierce we had with James Pierce and I think Bergeron and all that. He's standing on a lot of egos. He's bruising a lot of egos in that O-line. All the guys in O-line, because they don't react like that if it's easy for them. So
but then I go back to thing. I mean, as I say, I boil back down to one of my epithets, which is don't be bitter, be better. I love that they can go, now that was fucking hard work, but now they know what to expect, so they can come back harder the next day with more motion or more doubles and things like that. There's things that they can do, and that's why I love kitted practice, because you can really let the guys go and see what they can do when the heads really start cracking. As I say, but
that's.
Oh, you go there.
That's a benefit of having good players. I mean, you look at that O-line, right? That O-line has been great O-line, but who have they been really practicing against in the last couple of seasons? They've not. I mean, Calais Campbell, who was decent, so they've not really had any edge talent really to go up against them. They've now got somebody who can make it better. They've got somebody who's challenging them. And you know yourself, look, Bergeron's going to be like, well, it happened yesterday, but it's not happening today. And they'll make themselves better. They'll work harder as well. So it's beneficial for the full team that somebody like James Pierce walks in and turns around and said, no, I'm no rookie. I'll do what I have to do, and that's it. And again, like that's how you get elite players. Elite players don't care when they come into the building, what position somebody thinks that they should be in, first, second, third. They just go on with it. They just want to be on the park, and they just want to sack people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Play football.
I mean,
and I want to single out this comment. Sorry, Des. While we've got the chance, in terms of DJ Chark, he is a good run blocker. He's not the most complete receiver I've ever seen, but he's a solid run blocker. But more than that, because of the amount of, as I say, mileage on the tires, he's not getting any younger. But at the same time, you can't dispute the fact that he's still a big body and a very real deep threat. He's still got some get-off speed. He's maybe not a 50, 60-yard guy anymore. But that intermediate to long game, and as I say, he's a phenomenal second-level blocker. So cross-field blocks, comeback blocks, springing that edge if Bijan does manage to cut out and things of that nature. So I feel like we can do, as you say, Ricky, with having DJ Chark there, we can run some stutter runs, which is essentially where Bijan or Tyler will come up to the line, then Chark will come back, he'll make his smack, he'll crack inside on his man, and then the running back will come in behind him. So that, as I say, it opens up a lot of different systems that you can run. So, but again, with DJ Chark not coming in and getting that knock, hopefully he can bounce back to where he can contribute to a high level, and hopefully we can we can see all that.
I mean, the one thing that I would look at from Michael Penix Jr. and the way he plays the game, Darnell Mooney is just effectively. I mean, we need Darnell Mooney back because he's a speedster. He's the guy that can get down the field. We need him back, and I think that I honestly think I know obviously Drake London's been his go-to at training camp, but I honestly believe that Darnell Mooney is going to be phenomenal this year with Michael Penix Jr.
I agree. I feel like it's going to be a great year. As I say, I trademarked it earlier on in the season that you can't spell Mooney without money, and I think that's going to continue. Thanks so much, Auntie Pam. Ladybird's always showing love down in the chat. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, everybody. As I say, it's a grind, but it's a labour of love for us all. So, you get the best of your boy. I'll even sacrifice some on my birthday, because at the end of the day, if you can't spend birthday with family, it ain't the same. So I'll always represent. You know that.
Can I jump in as well? Well, just quickly.
Absolutely.
So, talking about James Pearce. Tori McElhenney was talking to Jesse Bates about James Pearce Jr. Seemingly their lockers are side by side, and something Bates said he's learned about JPJ is that he has no hesitation in him. He wants a certain song played in the locker room. He's grabbing knocks. He wants to get after the QB. He's doing it even with the pads off. You can respect that from a young guy. I am happy that he is on our team. So that's from Jesse Bates. So
hell yeah.
I mean, the other thing as
walk
well is obviously
walk into the trap, take over the trap.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You must have watched the quarterback documentary.
And I feel like Jesse's a natural born leader. And as you say, I mean, I'm going to pull up a wee visual that Des dropped on us. I think we do still have it. So out of all the safeties in Madden 26, the new video game, number one out of all of them is Jesse Bates. But hell yeah, well deserved. There's no other safety in the league comes close, and slicing it any old way you can. It's been well deserved and a long time coming. But yeah, so congratulations to JB3. Just keep that coming, my brother. We love it. So don't shy away now, because it's a big year loading. But yeah, there's something I wanted to ask you about, Cam, specifically. Yeah. So as I say, growing up in Kansas, getting into the Falcons and things of that nature, and then being on the Oklahoma border, you were exposed to a lot of SEC football, seeing Oklahoma, who you're a fan of, and things like that. So how do you feel about some of the things we've mentioned in terms of in-state pipelines and things like that? Do you agree with us that, at least in terms of the Falcons, that we would be better set to put a pipeline in place to keep some boys in Georgia, keep them local? Because I know a big problems in states like California and Texas, where you've got such a huge land area. But do you feel like there's a benefit to that for the Falcons of trying to get Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and things like that nature, as well as Georgia Bulldogs, and just keep these homegrown talents?
For sure. Like, it's not only like helpful for the culture, but it's just, you see a lot of guys who even like played for Georgia or Georgia Tech and didn't get drafted to the Falcons, but later on come into their career as a Falcon, and they just usually do pretty good. Like, in my opinion, like I'm not really too smart when it comes to all the college football players and all that stuff, but no, it completely makes sense why they like, a lot of people will complain that they don't get Georgia players that much, but yeah, no, it's great for the culture. People love that.
Yeah, I agree. Say, really. Yeah, and it gets the fans on side, as I say too. But no, I love the kind of that's what I love is opening the panel up, and now that we're growing, just being able to kind of spitball these things and get different opinions and see how you feel, because as I say, the league's been changing for the last sort of 5 years in so many ways, not just from positional play, but the way that we absorb it as fans has almost changed in a lot of ways.
Especially with the NIL and how colleges like get players now, that's gonna change a lot of where you want to draft your players from, because it's gonna change a lot of. I don't know. A lot of people aren't going to be sticking to their local colleges just because they grew up in those places. The money is just going to be,
And the transfer portal is going to be pretty active because, as I say, like I've made this point a few times, but in terms of NIL deals, if you're not in Ohio State or a Michigan, or you're not in the SEC, so you're not Alabama, Florida, Texas, Auburn, and teams, LSU, teams like that, then you're going to struggle. But yeah, as I say, they really disrespected a lot of guys way coming out of some of these schools. And as I say, you need to be aware of that. Like, you need to keep a more stringent eye on what's going on in your local area. And I feel like the colleges are doing a better job of that. So I feel like the pros need to kind of follow suit. There's a lot that they've taken from the college game, as you say. Michael Penix said it too, about how the transition's been smoother because of how he did it in college. So a lot of the college game has been pulled over. So I think that's something that we can definitely tie in with that as well. But yeah,
and that is something the NFL has done. The other thing is try to make it more college-like for them. That's all I got to say. But
yeah. What did you have to say? Sorry, Des.
I mean, the other thing as well is obviously, is it not the case that the local players, the Atlanta Falcons, are allowed to bring them into Flowery Branch and try them out? So
I think there is. I think there is some contingencies in place for that.
Yeah, I think it's within a 30-mile state size or whatever. And from my point of view, I'll say again, Georgia is up there with California and having the most NFL players. So the actual the teams and the players are there local. You know what I mean? From my point of view, if it's maybe not players that you're going to get a chance to draft, it's always good for undrafted free agents and players that you can bring in and effectively develop and all that. And again, something that I'd heard a few people saying about some of the coaches, like Nate Ollie, the defensive line coach, seemingly he's been getting a lot of great comments about how he's doing the defensive line and everything. I think going from the way the defense and some of the coaches last year, I think the coaches are better here now, because I think we had a discussion before about whether it's the players that are getting drafted or whether it's the coaching that's actually what is the end result? Is Terry Fontenot drafting the right players, but the coaching just ain't good enough to actually develop their players? But I think as you're talking about Georgia's it's a treasure trove of phenomenal players.
It really is.
And if you've got the chance, you can bring in as many local players as possible. Then do it. You know what I mean? And I honestly believe that if Atlanta brought in more Georgia area players, that they will be better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just the way they play too. They'll play with a whole nother level of passion, just since it's for their state. You know.
Yeah, and that's it. Just similar point as we were making to kind of the NFL Europe thing. If you invest at grassroots local level, then you're going to see exponential growth as well off the back of that. But I want to shout out home team here with brother Blackberry. He's just saying that he thinks that it might be Xavier Watts who's starting week 1. Sure. They said that he's updated it and that he sees him starting over Kendall Fuller. I agree with that. I feel like if Fuller's a name I've not heard mentioned much during camp, but I feel like a lot of the narratives would definitely go in the way of Watson, Bryant, and Bowman. So I feel like, yeah, that's definitely going that way.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I would want Fuller to even start over Justin Simmons, which obviously we don't have anymore, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe Fuller is better than Simmons, but I don't know. If I wouldn't start Fuller personally over Simmons, then I'd probably just rather go with Xavier Watts.
Yeah. I feel like there's such a high ceiling with Watts that you can't not give him at least the bulk of the reps. I feel like that's why he's kind of, as I say, doing the 2-to-1 in terms of splitting his reps with firsts and seconds. Because I feel like there's still a lot of things that Kobe can do and some of these other bodies can do. As I say, we're possibly going to be running nickel and dime packages in some places. So, as I say, we're going to see that come out a lot more during training camp and things like that. But yeah, just as I say, there's
what I would say, Will, is that the history's there. Raheem, when he was the defensive coordinator in LA, he played a really young defense, and there was a lot of rookies in that defense. And he done. I mean, it wasn't world changing, but I think they were top 20 as a defense with a lot of rookies. So he's not scared to play rookies if he thinks they're good enough.
Yeah, no, and I love that because, as I say, there's a lot of coaches that are like, nah, you need to establish your, take your reps and take those licks, and so to speak. But yeah, as Maggie's saying, there's not everyone is active in the chat, but you are here showing love. So if you are there and you don't want to speak, but you're just enjoying hearing us putting our thoughts and feelings across, then by all means, just drop us some red and black down in the chat. We're happy to have you. Whether you want to come on in the panel later on, as I say, that's something we can talk about down the line. But if you're just sitting in the background enjoying, don't be a stranger. If you've got any questions, any points that you want to make, it's the beauty of the panel. Just we'll answer it as best as we can for you. And another local to Scotland showing support down in the chat. Thanks a lot, Joe. Having a good episode, so just keeping things going. So, as I say, is there anything else you guys want to pull up, as I say, in terms of kind of training camp itself before we go into some of the broader things around the league?
I'll just mention. I mentioned this earlier before we started live that Pierce, he's definitely going to be playing throughout the preseason, starting in that. Jalen, obviously, he has a hamstring. I think Raheem's going to play it safe with that. But yeah, Pierce, we're going to be seeing a lot of him in the preseason. I'm just got a gut feeling.
100%.
Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman, we're going to be seeing a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Most starters we've
seen. What I would say, Cam, is I think this is going to be quite unusual for a preseason for us because I think there's going to be some players that have been here for a few years. Clark Phillips, the third, players like that are effectively playing for the future. D. Alford, again, there's quite a few players that have been with us for a few years. I think Helms might be one of them as well, because again, seemingly Natron Brooks has been playing with the ones and the twos as well. So again, I think there's going to be as I said earlier, I think this 53-man team, I think there's going to be a few shocks. And I think we need to get used to something that we've not happened before, but we need to get used to our practice squad getting decimated by other teams, because there's going to be players in that are effectively better than players that are in NFL teams. It's the depth in this 90-man team at the moment is unbelievable. I mean, I can't remember a 90-man roster that's been so deep. When you look at like the undrafted free agents, Nick Nash, Kobe Bryant, you know what I mean? You look at, Khalid Kareem. I mean, a guy I think we brought in last season was on the practice squad, come in, played a few games, showed out a wee bit. But again, he's just been sitting in the background. And again, is this maybe the fact that Nate Ollie is now starting to kind of, and effectively the Jeff Ulbrich are now starting to kind of train the guys and actually work them right, so that they're actually coming on and they're getting developed. So,
well, we can but hope, because
if you'd have yeah.
No, I was just going to say, it's something we can but hope about, because as I was saying to my mum as well over the week there, the guys that we've got that we're talking about as elite prospects, they're all between 22 and 26. So if we do this right, we can build a dynasty here that will sustain for maybe 4 or 5 seasons. Because, as I say, I'm greedy. I don't just want one Super Bowl; I want multiple. So.
I mean, you strike while the iron's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, Cam. That's just it.
But again, in the interview that Blank Arthur Blank had, he said that he doesn't just want a fly-by-night team. He wants a team that can compete year in, year out. And that was something that when he was getting interviewed at his presser, that was something that jumped out at me, that he said that. And you can only imagine that's what the coaches, that's what Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot are saying to him in the background. This is what we want to do. We want to do this. And I think Arthur Blank's spot into it.
Oh, 100%. I feel like everyone's buying into it. And I've said that a few times. Not just excitement in terms of how deep the roster is, especially this early, but I love that everyone from the GM, from Arthur Blank all the way down through coaching, through starters, all the way to the UDFAs who've just come in, are embracing this culture, this vibe, this fan base, and it's just so thrilling and so refreshing to see compared to what we've seen in previous years. And that's why we can't drive home enough to everyone watching, everyone listening in the chat, to keep supporting the team, keep buying your jerseys, keep getting your ass into the Benz, sitting in that seat for 3 hours until the clock reads 0:00, and just embrace what's being built here for us, and just enjoy it, because, as I say, there's never been quite such an exciting time to be a Falcon. But yeah,
but I'll say it again. It comes from one man. It's coming from Michael Penix.
Yeah,
I'll say it again and again. If this was Desmond Ridder, or if it was Kirk Cousins again, and we were allowing him to effectively do his second season, the way we're all feeling just now, the way we are so hyped. And again, there's Jill just come out and said it's the first time, first season in a long time I'm excited to get started. I agree, Jill. It's the same with us. It's the first time in a long time. I would probably say 2017, after the Super Bowl run, where you thought, yeah, that maybe this year it could be it. But it all comes from one man. It all comes from Michael Penix. And I'll keep going back to what I'm saying. If you had the worst team in the NFL and you put the GOAT man into that team, they would play better, because they would know that their quarterback is the GOAT man. And these players, don't kid yourself, these players are standing at the sideline. The offense and the defense, and they're watching Michael Penix throw this ball, and they know that this boy's special. They know that he's special, and that he's effectively going to change the quarterback, the NFL at quarterback position. This guy is special, and that's where all the excitement's coming from.
He made it to the national championship for a reason, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, you can always see these levels, as Cam, as you say. Shout out to Christy again, another one of the Ladybirds down in the chat. But as you were saying, Cam, like, you can see, as both of you were saying, to your credit, boys, like, you can feel it. And speaking as a player as well, and Cam, you've played the game, you'll be able to say as well, having played running back and receiver as well, when you have that quarterback that you know it's the guy and you know he has your back, it feels different. Your entire attitude and approach to the game changes. It's different, and that's why we can't understate the presence and the effect that having a Michael Penix Jr., having a proven leader, who's in the trenches, ready to go to war with you. We can't state enough how important that is for the success and the ongoing success of this franchise. But yeah, as
I'm
I say,
gonna go run and use the restroom real quick. I'll be back.
No problem at all. So while our brother from another mother is dealing with that.
And again, another thing as well is we don't want it to happen, but if anything happens to Michael Penix Jr., Kirk Cousins is balling out as well at training camp. So again, we've got the best backup in NFL. You know what I mean? But we've paid him. You know what I mean? Just let it be, and just things happen for a reason. You know what I mean? I always say that the football gods will test you, and believe it, they've tested us for so long, but the football gods will test you for a reason. So that when effectively the success arrives, it's all the more sweet. It's all the more sweeter.
That's it. The biggest diamonds form under the hardest pressure. You know what I'm saying? So we've been under pressure for a long time. We ain't cracked yet.
I remember, like, you go back a couple of seasons and people would say, right, defense, who's good in defense? And you'd go, well, AJ Terrell, and I mean, there's not really, and now you're going Jesse Bates. You know what I mean? You've got Xavier Watts, you've got Billy Bowman. You know what I mean? You've got AJ Terrell. You've got what you call Mike Hughes is good cornerback as well. So you're rhyming them off. You know what I mean? You then get into offense, and it's literally it's a who's who of offensive positions.
And that's what I was saying earlier as well with the receivers. I forgot Kadaro Hodge, and you're like, I just forgot a Pro Bowler. Literally, I forgot a Pro Bowler. That's how insanely stacked our team is. But yeah, I'm going to do something a little special while we're running this. So just keep on saying what you've got to say. I'm going to drop the link, because if you want to come and join us, it's a great discussion to come and do it tonight. So
the thing from my point of view is we keep on talking about Bijan Robinson, and we forget we've got Tyler Algier sitting literally next to him. You know what I mean? I'll say again, Tyler Algier, enjoy him, fans. Enjoy him, because I think the checkbook's going to be too big at the end of this year from another team for us to keep him. But having Bijan and Tyler together this year, I think is just, I mean, it's been special, but I think it's going to be even more special this year.
100%.
And that's the thing. There's phenomenal players that we forget about, as you say. Kadaro Hodge, you know what I mean? Tampa Bay game, scores a touchdown in overtime. You know what I mean? Great special team player, and we're forgetting them. You know what I mean? When was the last time as well, Will, that we spoke about our rookie class like this? Last year, effectively, most of them, we were effectively saying most of these players won't play this season. You know what I mean?
That was
this draft was for next season and the season after. Then you see that Rook Garororo is balling out in training camp as well. He had a couple of sacks today on Kirk Cousins. So again, it just seems to be that everything is just effectively. You always say that there's. It takes you 5 years to build a really good team, and effectively this is Terry Fontenot's 5th year. And whatever you think about that man, if you look at the team that he's built up, and the players that he's brought in, they all complement each other. And you look at Leonard Floyd as well. Leonard Floyd. If all Leonard Floyd does this season is mentor James Pierce, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, then in my
pay your
opinion, he's done
wages
enough.
to bring on. Absolutely, we'll pay your wages to bring this man on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
And if
that's
he
what you
gets
do.
10 sacks, I'll give you a bonus.
Absolutely. When the scuffles happen, Leonard Floyd's in there. No, that's my man. I'm backing him to the hill, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'll say it again. There's something in the air in Atlanta. Absolutely. There's something in the air.
100%. I agree. There's something that's just shifting, and the times they are changing. As I say, I don't agree with what Darren's been saying. It's. I don't. This is not just hype. There have been years where it has been hype, and if we felt it was that way, we would tell you, because we are realist and we are real and honest Falcons fans. We're not delusional like Steelers or Patriots, but we will call it how it is. But we don't see this as just a hype team. I think the credentials speak for themselves, and I feel like the way they're playing right now speaks for itself as well. But yeah, as I say, shout out to everyone down in the chat. Des, I'm having a little bit of bother getting the StreamYard link. So if you are able to do the copy and paste for me, we'll drop the link if you do want to come on and chat with us, guys. As I say, help the boys chat about training camp, help your boy celebrate his birthday, all that good stuff. Because I'm going to open things up while you do that, Des, to some of the topics around the league. So first off, I've seen it rumoured in a few different sources on X that the guy who we've mentioned before, former Las Vegas Raiders defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, we did, as I say, multiple sources, so it depends which one you read. We are between interested and extremely keen on bringing this guy in. So I know, obviously, money being a little bit tight, being an issue as well, but with the size, with the skill set that he brings, Des, and also with the fact that the reason that he was cut seems to mostly be an excuse, a reason to get rid of the man. How would you feel? Do you know much about Wilkins? Have you done your research to be able to comment? How would you feel if we pick up that big nose?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if he's going to benefit the Falcons, I'm fine with that. The stories around it are really quite. I mean, it's quite strange, to be honest. The one thing I would say is that Arthur Blank tends to be a guy that doesn't really want to bring in any players that have any potential issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you look at James Pierce and everything that was discussed about him during the draft and everything, that's a different matter. But I mean, you're hearing that seemingly kissed one of his other players on the head or something. I heard that from Pat McAfee. Then you're hearing that he's not rehabbing correctly and that the team wanted him to have surgery on his, I think he's a foot injury, and he wasn't prepared to have the surgery. But I mean, he'd signed an $90 million guaranteed contract. And I think he's only had about 50 odd million of that, and seemingly he's due another 35 million. And the Raiders have avoided that. So
yeah,
again,
I'm sure it was.
I mean,
I read it was 35-7. But from what I read, it was 35-7. But I feel like there we go, brother. Welcome back.
I didn't know if you guys were trying to like finish a point or something before you brought me. Or you didn't see me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
As I say, we've just started talking a little bit about Christian Wilkins, because we've seen it teased over a few different sources that we are between interested and extremely keen to bring him in. But yeah, how do you feel? Like, how well do you know him? And do you feel like he could be an asset, bringing in that big mean nose, that more archetype sort of player that guys have been wanting? How do you feel about that, Cam?
Well, I don't really know too much about him. I just heard the whole kissing a his teammate on the forehead playfully thing from Adam Schefter. So I'm not really, I have nothing wrong. Like, obviously, it's probably a joke. Someone took offense to that, and they cut him for not following rehab or whatever. Those issues aren't even like big to me. The biggest issue would be like, how injury prone is he? I don't know his injury history really. But if big guy, if you get him on a cheap deal, apparently they're going to have to, they're going to do something where he's going to try to get his guaranteed money, because they did avoid his guaranteed money for not following the rehab. But if he does get that money back, maybe you can get him on a cheap deal.
Yeah, well, as you say, Cam, I feel like a lot of the narrative towards he wasn't rehabbing it the way that we wanted him to rehab it. I just feel like, there was maybe something to that where we were made to believe that
was more so
maybe
a
just a reason to avoid it.
Yeah, they could use that as an excuse to get rid of him. So
100%, and appreciate you, Ricky. As I say, I'll be doing plenty of that later on. So I'll give you a little challenge. See if you can create a soul tire. White cross in the air. There you go. Try one of those.
Let's see if I can post a soul tire. I don't know whether that actually gives you the. Let me find a soul tire so that they know what the soul tire is.
Well, yeah, it's in the background of the Scottish Falcons logo as well. So white cross on a field of blue. So it's here in the overlay, I think. Yeah. So there you go. That behind Des and I is your soul tire. So a white cross on a field of blue. So if you want to create one of those in the air for your boy, I'm not going to tell you not to. Feel free. And as I say, if you're raising your glasses out there as well, whatever you're drinking, be it a soft drink, be it a hard drink, raise it to your boy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you all tuning in as always. As I say, it's a labour of love to bring the shows to you. So yeah, we're just happy to be here as always. But yeah, and there's one more thing I wanted to say as well. While we're all excited, while we're all in the party atmosphere, it's business time. We've waited. It's been a long off season, and now we're here. Football is back.
Finally.
Hall of Fame game tonight. So
we've survived.
We
can't count the Chargers or Lions, but it's football.
Yeah, somebody somewhere out there cares more than we do, but it's football, so we're planning on watching it. Yeah. So as I say, for all those that are toasting me right now, once we get done with the show, I'm going to toast you all back.
Yeah,
thank you. So I would once we can. We don't want demonetized. So once I can raise an adult beverage to y'all and can I toast you back? I will do. One watching the game, but I've got a nice little pick here. So as I say, as Cam says, tonight it will be the Packers against the Lions. Sorry, not the Packers. The Chargers against the Lions. Yeah, Chargers against the Lions rather. In the Hall of Fame game over in Canton, Ohio. So looking forward to that.
As I say, early. I don't know why, but I mean,
1 a.m. isn't it?
Right on.
It's 1 a.m. for us.
Yeah, so. For you. No, I mean, like, just like it's coming up so quick. The season is like it just feels, like it doesn't. Yeah, it still feels like the first half of summer for me. I don't know why. It's just gone by so fast past couple of weeks. But
I see what you mean. Like, even here, Des, it feels like we normally have a quick summer weather-wise, but no, even taking weather out. Yeah, it's been a really, really quick summer, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It really has.
Absolutely, yeah. It is. I mean, I wouldn't say it's came quick, Cam. I mean, this season, the preseason just feels as if it's dragged in for me.
Maybe it's just my hindsight.
I think it's the fact that this is our 10th episode. With me and Will, and we've effectively spoke in the last 3 weeks for 20 hours. So I mean, when you're when you're talking for 20 hours, it does kind of tend to drag in a wee bit, you know what I mean? So,
and we would say to everyone who's in the chat as much as we love you and appreciate you, you're insane for putting up with us for this long. But thank you very much. But yeah, as I say, anyone with any questions, by all means, drop them in the chat. If you want to join us, the link should already be on there as well. So we'll keep an eye for any special guests that want to come on as well. Because as I say, shout out to Jill as well down in the chat. I know she's been talking about jumping on with us recently for a chat. So just to stay with the boys as well, we'd all love to have you. Because all we're endeavouring to do is grow the family, grow the channel. And keep the great content coming. So, more on.
Absolutely. Now, and as we've been talking about Michael Penix Jr. Balling out across the river, I've seen recently on X that Tyler Shocker has been playing really, really bad. So,
shock horror.
Shocker
Never.
by name. Shocker by name, shocker by nature. So, so that's good to see. And again, it goes back to what Terry Fontenot said last year when he drafted Michael Penix Jr. That he didn't believe that the Falcons would be in this position again. And they felt that Michael Penix Jr. was the right man. You now look at this season, and you look at Taylor Shock, Cam Ward. Again, Cam Ward's had these issues in training camp. Shadur Saunders, seemingly he's the only QB in the Browns that hasn't played with the first team. You know what I mean? And you look at all that, and what I would say is, again, Terry Fontenot's hindsight has been phenomenal, because he's sat down and he's looked at this draft class that's just come out and thought to himself, apart from maybe Cam Ward, I don't really think there's going to be many good QBs. So this is the time we have to grab our QB, and he grabbed Michael Penix Jr. You now look at Atlanta, at the Aints, and they're at a point where it could possibly be Spencer Rattler that starts.
No. It's Jake Hayner that's actually playing with the ones right now. So it's actually
seriously.
Yeah.
That's going to be real fun.
Chuck is with the 3s and Rattler is with the 2s. So yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic news.
Oh man!
I mean,
I was joking last week to that Saints fan. I was telling him, well, at least you guys still have Jake Hayner if it doesn't work out.
Yeah. Who knows, man?
Takes a good photo.
Yeah, man. We'll give him that. At least he's photogenic. He sucks, but at least he's photogenic.
Yeah.
But shout out down
He'll look good on camera while he sucks. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, appreciate you, Ricky. We're happy to get you through your work days. That's to say, we are drive time essentially in the A. So we love to bring that service to you. And shout out to Jill as well. Once the season rolls around, we'd love to hear your takes. Keep the network growing, as I say. So another Scottish Falcon, you heard it here first. Once the season rolls around, we'll get Jill on, and as I say, I'm sure y'all will make her feel very welcome.
Absolutely.
No, I want to answer that question. Have any of us got a rookie jersey yet? I have not. It's nothing against any of the rookies. I just went ahead and bought an old Michael Turner jersey because it's more so something against Fanatics. I'm not a big Fanatics fan, but
I can't say I blame you for that assessment. Yeah. Oh yeah, Fanatics has got their
great jersey. Great. This was $50 on eBay. Way cheaper. Love the player. Better quality. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. In eBay, say what you want about eBay, but I got my Tony Gonzalez, I'm sure, was Fanatics, and I loved the jersey, but the stitching on the 8s wasn't on point. But my Vic, the old Vic one I had before it was outstanding. But yeah, they need to kind of. They need to kind of look at Fanatics again as the kit sponsor, and yeah, we all know the story about the miscoloured ATL ordering the Bijan.
At least they didn't put like the wrong team's logo on it. I've seen them do like egregious stuff like that, like it's people's jerseys. Yeah, like it's pretty bad if you look at Fanatics mess ups.
We would be fighting. Like I would be throwing hands.
Yeah, if they put a Saints logo on a Falcons jersey,
yeah.
It's over.
See the new jerseys. See the new jerseys. Most of them are just effectively a black top, and they then just start putting the logos on. I mean, it literally must cost $5 or $6 just for that top. And then they put all the numbers and the names and everything on it and the logos. It's just all effectively heat seal. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of money in these jerseys. You know what I mean? And 100%. You would think at least one of them would get it right and understand the ATL
even
is red.
Quality control too. Yeah. It's like just have people looking at the jerseys, but it's probably like people from a different country don't even understand which team is supposed to be what and all that. So they're like, I don't know.
This is actually the joke that Moira and I make about Domino's Pizza. Is they have the cheek to say when you order it and it's counting down the steps and it says quality control. We always have a chuckle and go, "What you mean? Just chucking it in the box? There's no quality control." So I think Fanatics is working on a similar system, to be honest.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, I think as I said to say, in terms of the quality of the jerseys, you'd almost be sooner look backwards than forwards. But yeah, I love this one for Ricky. He's trash, of course he is, and he plays for a trash organisation. I love it. I wish I still had those photos of Raheem and Terry laughing because, yeah, as I say, I trolled that Saints guy as well and kind of told him, all we're doing is just sitting here laughing at you, bro. That's all we're doing. Nice choice.
Well, again, he kept on saying that Taylor Shock's going to be a great quarterback, and we kept on saying we've been there with Desmond Ridder. We were there with Desmond Ridder. Oh, Desmond Ridder's played 50 games in college football. He took Cincinnati to the semi-finals of the national championship. Blah, blah, blah. He didn't have many good wide receivers outside Alex Pierce, all that kind of stuff. And then, listen, fair play to Desmond Ridder. He's got the same name as my first name, you know what I mean? So I'm a Desmond, but obviously who wants to be called Desmond? You know what I mean? It's like, so that's how I shortened it to Des. But I supported that man so much. I actually got a Desmond Ridder top. You know what I mean? That's how much I supported this guy, and we all seen. And at some point, you think to yourself, it's tough for first round quarterbacks. You'll see that tonight with Trey Lance. He's playing in the Hall of Fame game. You know what I mean?
Is he on the Chargers
when it's a first round.
I think.
Which team is he on?
He's on the.
I forgot where he went after he went to the Cowboys.
I'm sure it's LA.
Let me just see.
I don't know which team. Yeah, I completely forgot about Trey Lance.
He's with the Chargers.
Yeah, he just faded out of my memory like as soon as he came in the NFL. Like, I don't know.
But again, you remember all the reaction when we didn't take Trey Lance or Fields, you know what I mean? When Terry Fontenot just effectively didn't draft anybody. But again, you see how they've been, you know what I mean? And you can, again, keep on saying Terry hasn't. I don't think there's been anything major with quarterback that Terry's missed. You know what I mean? Trevor Lawrence, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is. He was classed as a generational quarterback, and I don't think he's really turned it on. You look at Caleb Williams as well. Caleb Williams in practice today, they actually are doing the offense in slow motion. so that Caleb Williams can understand what Ben Johnson is trying to do with the offense. You know,
100%.
Again, I'll keep on saying, I'll keep on saying, we have won a gold, top of the range watch with Michael Penix Jr. We have landed on our feet with this guy.
Yeah, and we've just
that game was on my birthday. Yeah, that game was on my birthday, and I went to the Houston Falcons game next week in Atlanta. Luckily, that game was a nail biter. Oh my god,
that was a hell of a game. That was a hell of a game.
Houston's fans at the Hyatt that I was staying at, and before I left the hotel to go to the game, they're like, "Good luck, you'll need it." And then after the game, I seen him in the lobby. Once I walked back in, I was wasted by then, but I was like, "Thanks for the good luck, man."
That was a fire game, man. It really was.
Double pass behind the back cross.
I went from, so Jill's talking about the London game. I went from Matt Ryan against the Jets, where we won, to Desmond Ridder against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it was, as you said, it was brutal. The only thing that game is remembered for is the Nickelodeon cartoons.
No, that was the Toy Story. Getting shown the Toy Story. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I remember how bad those were.
Oh man.
Yeah,
that was a great first birthday.
That's how. That's how bad that game is. You know what I mean? Absolutely brutal.
Honestly, in hindsight, Desmond Ridder had no right beating the Houston Texans to what team they are now. You know, there's honestly insane that he even won that game. But, yeah, I
don't know how he managed it, but I was glad that he did.
Well, I wouldn't say he won it. Honestly, everyone else is carrying him around. Like Bijan with that cross, beyond that shouldn't even been a touchdown. I don't even know how that happened.
Well, Bijan will do that for you, I guess.
Arthur Smith was like, "Yeah, we don't teach that at practice. There's no way I could teach this." I remember saying that.
This slime time, slime time. That was it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh dear.
But remember as well that it's effectively Desmond Ridder that we've to thank for being in this position, because it was because he nearly beat the Falcons against when we were playing against the Raiders, that they decided enough's enough. We've seen enough from Kirk, you know what I mean? So we've seen enough from Kirk. We need to move on.
Man, I was really hoping they would put Penix in for that game, just so just for the storyline of it.
That would have been fun. That would have been fun. But yeah, like as I say, I'm kind of glad it worked out the way it did, because we couldn't have went on with Ridder anymore, and I feel we'd reached that plateau, as you say, with Kirk as well. But yeah, we're glad to finally have that guy in place, ready to go. But yeah, as I say, I'll not be going with any rookie jerseys. If I do get a jersey this year, I'm going back to my lucky number. First jersey I ever owned was a Vic 7, and now I want a Bijan 7. So if I'm getting a jersey this year, you'll expect to see me rocking a Robinson.
Well, I've got a Bijan 7, and I think it's going to be a Penix number 9 this year. I think for me, I think. I mean, the guys that I'll keep on saying, the guy's special. He's been balling out in training camp. So, I mean, I'm all in. I mean,
I'm gonna have to get a London one.
I'm all in on.
I got a Pitts one from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we should.
They also messed that one up. It was a throwback one. They put the modern logo on it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Aye.
So there you go.
See, to be honest, as well,
horror stories.
Yes. See what Jill says. See, effectively, if we had to go through Marcus Mariota, Taylor Heineke, and Desmond Ridder, and obviously Kirk Cousins to get our franchise quarterback, I'm fine with that, because Atlanta Falcons, when they drafted Michael Vick, effectively that went from what was it 99 or 2000 we drafted Michael Vick?
99, I think.
I think so. I know Arthur Blank got the Falcons in 2002.
Yeah, that got him to obviously 2007 when all the garbage happened. And then we had Matt Ryan from 2008 to 2021. So as a franchise, we're good at picking our franchise quarterback. We just didn't get it in the last couple of seasons. And let's hope that this is another 2008 to 2021 with Michael Penix. And again, I'll go through all the hurt that we went through in the last few years just to get our franchise quarterback that takes us to a Super Bowl.
That's it. I will eat 28-3, and I will eat Desmond Ridder. I will eat Mariota. I will swallow all that down if this is the guy. If I can be sitting here celebrating my 45th birthday and going, Penix was that dude. We knew it. So there you go. That's a great way to look at it. We've had a consistent way of picking QBs that will be the guy, and we've just had a few seasons, a wee lull, and now it's time to really get back to where we really ought to be.
Yeah, and again, a wee lull because that generational quarterback Terry Fontenot didn't believe was there for the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I mean? He was only at a point where and they will say they went above and beyond with Michael Penix Jr. flying to Seattle to watch him and everything. So they knew this guy was the guy.
Well, a lot of people were judging why didn't he trade down or whatever, but Fontenot wasn't going to allow that to happen again because when he worked with the Saints and he tried to go after that quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. He ended up losing it to the Chiefs because I think they moved up to get Patrick, if I'm not wrong, and they snagged him from the Saints. And
the Saints were going to take him. Yeah,
thank God that didn't happen.
And they jumped. They jumped up and grabbed him.
I don't need that in my life. But yeah, as I say, so what we'll do then, now that we've hit the 2-hour mark, not that we're slowing down because we've covered most of the main topics for tonight, but this is the part we love. So if any of you have got any questions, any points, feel free to drop them and we'll cover them before we close up. But yeah, as Leo says, you can say what you want, it doesn't bother me anymore. It was a decade ago. There's one man that was on that team now that's still in the franchise, and that's Jake Matthews. So you can't scare me with 28-3 anymore. And if you're a Patriots fan trying to scare me with 28-3, talk to me about it after week 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all I've got to say about that.
See how many listen, at the end of the day, and again, I'll go back to the training camp. James Pierce and Michael Penix Jr. are showing what this new Atlanta Falcons team is going to be all about. You know what I mean? We don't give a toss about your 28-3 comments. We don't give a toss about who you think you are as a player when you're facing me in front of you. I'm going to, like Michael Penix Jr., he doesn't care what defense you show him. He's going to suss it out straight away. He's got a QB brain, and then effectively you're going to if our offense is going to be as good as what we think it's going to be, and then effectively we plug in all these edge and D-line and effectively say go after the quarterback. I mean, this is going to be.
The future is brighter than the dark of the past.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. As I said in a couple of posts as well, Mike was talking about Ulbrich, and I commented about how it's a different team this year than it has been in days past. It's good to look backwards, but at least we can look forwards with some excitement and some. For once, I don't feel any trepidation. I know we've got Washington, I know we've got Minnesota, I know we've got Buffalo coming in the first 6 weeks of the season, and I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm not even concerned. because I know that even like we've got the talent and the personnel to where even if we show up, we'll still give them a game. Even if there's certain players who aren't situationally there on the night, I think we can. We proved it last season by beating Philadelphia and by losing to Kansas City after they basically assaulted Kyle Pitts in the end zone. We can hang with anyone in the league.
Falcons worked out former first-round pick cornerback C.J. Henderson today, per Mike Garofalo.
Oh, that's interesting.
Kevin Knight. Yep.
That's really interesting, and it'd be interesting to see how he progresses.
That was an hour ago.
Yeah, interesting call. And I've got a question here from the boss lady. She wants to know if we think Raheem will show a difference in coaching this season. So I'll let you boys say how you're feeling, and I'll take that. So Des, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, well, he came out in one of the pressers and said that he's learned a lot from the first year and how he effectively, like, give you an idea. I heard one of the reporters talking about how Bijan came up and spoke to Raheem about how if it's okay after practice, I just want you to have a wee chat and do a couple of things with a couple of guys. And Raheem Morris turned around to Bijan and said, do it now. Just go and do it now. If you want to do something, do it now. And he said normally in the first season he would have been stuck to what he had decided they wanted practice to be. But this year it was all about if it's something that you have to look at or something we have to improve on, doesn't matter. We're not going to wait to the end of practice. We're going to do it now. So again, what I would say is if this isn't at least a 10-win season, everybody needs to be sacked.
I agree.
This team is too good. This team is too good for us to be going 9-8 or 8-9 this year. Literally, it's going to be. I mean, I heard one of the other podcasts saying that about if we have a great offense this year, but the defense doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Is it a case that effectively, again, this goes back to the 2016 season, is it a case that we then sack Raheem Morris and put Zach Robinson in place as the head coach? Again, taking it back to Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan. But again, you would need to be inept with some of the talent now that we've got in defense if we can't be at least a top 15 defense. That's all I'm asking. A top 15 defense. And if we can't do it with effectively Jeff Ulbrich, who's supposed to be a really good defensive coordinator, and Raheem Morris, who is a defensive head coach, then again, changes have to be made. But I'm hoping that effectively, although he has been a head coach before with the Bucks, I'm hoping that last year he has learned, especially with time management and all that kind of stuff, and he is a better coach coming into this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And the caveat being that, as you say, similarly to what was said with Michael Penix and his sample size from the tail end of last season, is that you learn some hard lessons in this league. You learn how to adjust when you're punched in the mouth. We've fallen short in many ways, but if the rest of the team's changing, I feel like he's smart enough to know, this is time for me to shit or get off the pot as well. And there's so much more impetus on the coaching because we've got so many of these bodies that we need to bring along, bring up and get ready for high-level NFL football. So I feel like he knows that the coaching's got to change as well. And how about you, Cam? How do you feel? Do you feel he's going to make any major adjustments in terms of how he's coaching this year?
So yeah, there's going to be a few adjustments because the main thing is it's going to open up the playbook a lot more with Michael Penix. The way they ran the offense, it felt like they were holding a lot of stuff back just because they weren't really sure with Kirk. And then it wasn't really until you seen that Tampa Bay game where it was like that's what the offense was supposed to be. It's supposed to be that's how it's supposed to be ran. But
yeah.
Also with injuries too, like announcing on like talking about injuries or like how you're going to protect players, because we have the whole Jalen Walker thing right now, and into contrast with like him not really doing anything about Kirk when everyone was noticing there was something wrong with Kirk. Everyone could tell you that, and him not pulling out Kirk at the time, you know, he let him go for a bit longer, whether that's because of the relationship he has with Kirk Cousins over the course of their careers, and Kirk being a veteran too, just putting that trust into him. You know, I want to see what Raheem does when, like I was saying earlier, like James Pierce is going to play a lot in this preseason, but we seen last year he was not a big fan of putting his first round picks into preseason. But James Pierce, I feel this year we're going to see a lot of him in the preseason. Not much of Jalen Walker, just because we do know about pre-existing injuries. Well, not really injury. It's a minor hamstring, but just anything that's up, I don't think he's gonna test that water. There's gonna be a little bit of consistency there. I'd say that's the only thing that's been inconsistent. Like him to be worrying last year about putting people in the preseason, but then kind of letting Kirk go and just meander, kind of like slowly fall apart as each game went on, and just all the picks and no touchdowns for 4 games straight. Like, that was my biggest issue with like anything I could point out about what he's done. Time management too. That's the only other nitpicky thing I got. But you know, you should have usually they hire people to help them with time management. But if you're a good coach, you shouldn't really need that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. The time management has to improve. That's a must. But I feel like he knows he's got, as Ricky says, he feels like he's got the right coordinators in place. And as Maggie says too, he's obviously evidently learned, or hopefully he's learned from like some of the mistakes and some of the roadblocks that he faced last season. So I feel like he's in the right spot to improve. But my worry, as I say, is if, for instance, as you say, Des earlier on, if the offense shows up and the defense doesn't, I almost don't want to completely burn it down again, because then, as I say, we looked at this and went, did we get rid of Quinn too early? I don't want to have a repeat performance where we're sitting going, Ulbrich put so much into building this and then we fired him a year in. I feel like we need to be a bit more patient with the defense than we'd be with the offense, because there's so many young guys that are coming in and we're really finding our identity again. So I feel like if there's going to be struggles, I see it more from the defense than the offense. So I feel like as fans, we need to also be prepared for that, possibly as well. Some growing pains.
On a positive note, you obviously look at the defense last year, and Jimmy Lake's defense was horrendous. And you remember during the bye week, effectively after the bye week, the defense looked far better. I think there was like from the bye week to the end of the season, I think sacks wise we were in the top 3. In that term. And then obviously it came out at the end of season that effectively Raheem Morris had took over defensive coordinations during the bye week, and he was effectively running the defense. So when you look at that, and I mean, say what you want about Jeff Ulbrich. I mean, Jeff Ulbrich he's a positive guy. He's a guy that you can see that you can tell that players will run through walls for him. He's that kind of guy. Nate Ollie as well. I've mentioned him earlier on. He looks like the kind of guy that effectively gets the D-line pumped up to effectively do what they have to do, kind of thing. So, I think the positives are that when Raheem effectively dealt with the defense just after the bye, they looked a lot better. and the fact that he knows what he's going to get. It's not a case it's a Jimmy Lake. I think with Jeff Ulbrich, he knows what he's going to get from Jeff Ulbrich on the defense point of view. But again, I'll say what Cam says. He knows his coaches kind of thing. So it's all positive. But again, it's the same as when Jeff Ulbrich says that he's in charge of the defense. Raheem Morris is the same. He's in charge of the team. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's going to improve. I said in one of the other podcasts that Raheem made decisions. Raheem took decisions based on a first-year coach, as in the fact that he knew whatever he was going to do, he wasn't going to get sacked at the end of the season. He was going to get another season out of it. And I think that's why he probably persevered with Kirk Cousins so long. If Raheem was in his second season and that happened last year, I think Kirk Cousins, they would have made the decision quicker on Kirk Cousins and get him out the team and get Penix in. But I always say hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened if Michael Penix had been in a couple of games earlier? Was he ready? He looks as if he's always been ready, but do we know
And he was
that?
set up against like a lot
mean?
easier teams for the 3 games he played. Those were a lot easier teams. If he went against any of those, the Broncos defense, that could have been very bad for him.
A lot easier teams, as you say. But a good warm up as well. And then, as I say, another great question here from Maggie. She's asking in regards to Kyle Pitts being used as a receiver, which is something that I wanted to touch on a lot because it's my position as well. So I feel like there's a lot of great flexibility that can be achieved through this. And here we go, talking about flexibility again. But no, as I say, I feel like for a long time, and we've made this point before, Des, the tight end position has changed because you've got a lot more of these bodies that are more the athletic basketball style tight ends. So you had a lot of that from Rob Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, the tail end of guys like Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, obviously Travis Kelce, George Kittle. We could go on. That really high level sort of. He's not quite a tight end, but he's not quite a receiver. Obviously, having Kyle Pitts in there is just adding another guy into that mix. Huge body that can stretch the field with outstanding vertical speed. I just wish for my money that he had slightly better body control. But again, that's something that we've talked about. He doesn't he doesn't play 6'6", 250, and that's something that I feel like he needs to work on a little bit. But here's one that I've been playing with. A lot of teams run what's called a jumbo package. Here's what I call the Falcons' new Stilts package. So your outside guys are Nick Nash, 6'3.5", Drake London, 6'4", 6'4.5. In the slot, you have 6'6" Kyle Pitts, and you also have Charlie Werner at 6'5" off the edge of your tackle's hip. So you imagine trying to be a corner and cover that set of receivers. If you're using him more as a slot guy, it's going to open up so many more options down the field. So how do you feel about that in terms of using Pitts more as a receiver and maybe mixing up the sort of whether he can line up tight, out in the slot, out wide? We'll start with you this time, Cam. How are you feeling about just how versatile a weapon we can ultimately use Kyle Pitts to be?
That's the reason why we've been calling him a unicorn for the past 4 years. It's just his whole purpose. Like, that's always what you kind of wanted to use him for. It was disappointing trying to see Arthur Smith use him as a run blocker. I mean, you'd expect a guy that big to be able to block, but he's not really a great blocker. But yeah, no, it's just where he should be. Honestly, it's what I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what he did in college technically, but I don't know. It just seems like the place that he should be. He is kind of more of a wide receiver in my eyes than really a traditional, like Warner type tight end.
Yeah, and I mean he's not. To be more of that blocking tight end, it's 6 and 2 3s, but his skill set works more towards losing £15 and being a Calvin Johnson archetype than putting on another £15 and trying to become more of a blocking archetype. Because, I mean, we've got Charlie Werner's a big guy. I think he listed at 265. So he's more a blocking archetype. Whereas, as I say, options and sets, we're going to have a lot more different options in what we can do. But I feel like this is, as you say, Cam, this is what Kyle's been groomed for. And I'm glad to kind of see it going that way. But yeah, as I say, just kind of...
Well, what I would say...
Sorry.
I mean, what I would say is, if you've got somebody that size... So effectively, what Arthur Smith tried to do with Kyle Pitts is he tried to disguise when he was going to use Kyle Pitts as a wide receiver and try and disguise him as, he's just going to be your traditional tight end. But when you're 6'6", when you've got that arm span that you have with Kyle Pitts, what do you have to disguise? If he's going up against a 6'1" or a 6 foot cornerback, with his arm span and his size, it doesn't matter what's happening. He's catching that ball. I've said before in other podcasts, we did not draft Kyle Pitts at number 4 to do tight end blocking. We drafted Kyle Pitts at number 4 as a wide receiver, and that's what we need to use him. You know what I mean?
I see exactly what you're saying, and as I say, we didn't take him at 4 to do. We took him at 4 to do something completely different, and now this is finally the year where he can get into that role more. I did have a bit of a screen freeze there, so just making sure that I'm looking good, I'm sounding good.
It just froze again.
It's froze, but we can hear you, mate. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
If I have to cover audio only, I'll finish audio only. I do apologise about the sync issues, but we'll finish it out. I mean, we're coming to kind of towards the end now anyway. So I mean, what I would say then, if we're getting these issues before they get too bad, is we kind of go on to the fan appreciation and things. So just to kind of, I've been dropping it in there all night, but just to let you guys know again how much we care about you, how much we love all the love and support, the questions, the topic ideas. It keeps us going. It keeps us fresh. It keeps us knowing what to read, what you guys are looking for. So by all means, keep showing the love. If there's anything you want to hear, keep that coming as well. As I say, from tonight as well, you've seen that we've got more guests lined up, more panelists coming to join us in the near future. So you want to keep it here. You're also going to have the short form content with Will the Thrills Spills coming up soon as well. So just continue to support all of the AFN family of supporters, whether it's the Ladybirds, the Regulators, over with Mad Mike and the guys at the Unholy Alliance. Just show everyone some love. Keep growing the family. Keep getting your asses down to training camp, down to the stadium, and let's make Super Bowl 60 and year 60 a special one for our birds. But before we wrap up, I'm going to pass it around to the boys again. So, Des, if you want to let everyone know where they can get at you as well.
Again, just get me on X. So it's Scottish Falcon. So that's effectively where I'm at. Sorry, I've just commented on a question that Southside Ricky put up, and it's come up as you, mate. So I do apologise. So
don't worry about it. So but, just as I say,
I need to answer this. So Southside Ricky put out who is the one player on defense we can't afford to hurt to get hurt, and it's easy. It's
that was my answer in my head too. Yeah.
El Capitano. When you're the captain, when you're the captain and the mentor, you make yourself indispensable. So I think we're all in agreement there. You could
next in line would be Alice.
To a certain extent, you can take most names out or interchange them here and there, but Bates with an honourable mention to Alice, I would agree with that 100%. And Cam, where can the guys get at you as well if they're wanting to continue the conversation after the show?
You can find me on Twitter. It's Ola dash Foshi Foshi. I guess I can type that in the chat on the
You
side.
can do. Feel free.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. It's not really like a whole sports Twitter, but it is where you could get a hold of me if you have any questions or anything.
Great. Thank you very much. So everyone go and give Cam a follow at Olaf Foshi down there on X if you want to get at him. As I say, Desert Scottish Falcon. I'm at Will Waddell on X. Everything else, I am at Will the Thrill Waddle, and that's WAD-L. So shout out to my old man, because that's not something that I often do, but I'm gonna give my dad a little bit of the credit, because WADL is how he used to use his web tag. So now that he passed away, I guess I'm Waddle. So that's where that comes from. So if you want to, as I say, get involved with the Scottish Falcons show, the AFN International family, for the upcoming season, get in touch with myself, Maggie, Des, Cam, and as I say, we're always happy to talk birds. Or as I say, the madness that's going on around the league this season. But we'll be coming at you live again on Saturday. But I'd say 2.5 hours in. As I say, we appreciate all the love, all the support. Most importantly, tonight, all the birthday wishes as well. So now your boy's going to go and have a couple of drinks and watch some football. So until then, guys, as you know, pain is international, but so is passion. Thank you for joining us. Much love.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.